So, hi there, YouTube land. So, the wife and I are, yet again down in Virginia with, my buddy Paulie. We're down here in Tazewell, and, we're headed home. We came down for the weekend, and, you guys should have already saw that video of all the riding footage and all the goofy stuff we did. And camera lady's wonderful camera. Wave to the camera down there, camera lady. Why is the camera down there? Why ain't it up here? Why ain't you being the camera lady?
Because you want to see what it looks like down there.
Alright, so what do you say we do a video called Pros and Cons of the camping thing? Since we've done it a few times now. You've been out with me twice, and I've had both of the kids out. So, do you think that we have some pros and cons that we can go through?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want to start with first? You want to start with the pros or the cons?
The only con that I have is there's no shade at the spot we was at. And it's hot.
That's at that location, but
yeah.
I'm talking,
everywhere?
Overall pros and cons, okay? Overall pros is it is extremely inexpensive. When you get into the state parks, it's a little more expensive, but compared to what we paid for Airbnb, it was, we did, last year when we went to VAM, I think I said it before in a video, when we went this year and we camped, we had less money wrapped up in the entire trip than what we paid for the Airbnb last year, and that was splitting it between myself and HDR. So, right?
Yeah.
So, the VAM trip cost us $300 total. I know I said I'd do a video on that, so here you go. Here's your cost comparison video, right? So the VAM trip cost us $300 in total. That was for food, lodging, gas riding around. We ate at Hardee's the first day we got down here because we were hungry. So we ate at Hardee's, and we got ice cream up Big Walker Mountain. Eating at Hardee's and Big Walker Mountain was really the only thing that we ate outside of the camp, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, some of the pros, you can cook at camp, right?
Yeah.
And you save money on that. So that would be a pro. You don't have to worry about what people have done in the bed sheets when you're staying at a hotel or an Airbnb, or if they're clean or if they're dirty, because you got your own bed sheets, you got your own bed, so you don't got to worry about bed bugs and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are pros. The cost, it's way cheaper. So, what else would you say would be a pro, honey?
I don't know. I mean, you already said it's cheaper.
Is it relaxing?
Somewhat.
I mean, once you get there and you get set up, which we'll get into the cons here in a minute of it, but once you get there and you get set up and stuff like that, and we're still learning, but once you get there and you get set up and all that stuff, it's pretty nice and relaxing, and it's pretty cool down here in the mountains, especially down there on that lake at Cabots Creek. And that's where we camped at, you know, and it's been pretty cool since I've had the camper out. It's been pretty cool in the evenings. Haven't had any issues with needing air conditioning or anything like that. We have a little fan we use, but we didn't even use it this time, did we?
No, the table was on the wrong side.
So, some cons. Some cons, well, your bike is going to be pretty, it's not hard to pick the bike up off the kickstand and stuff like that, but you're going to know that you're pulling something behind you. It's not bad, and slow speed maneuvers is when it's the worst. Your front tire's light. So getting your weight and all that stuff equaled out, that's a con. Alright? Another con is setup, ain't it, honey?
Yeah.
You want to tell them a little bit about setup?
Well, I think we have too much stuff, but setup sucks because when it's hot, you're sweating, you're tired. But you gotta do it. You gotta get it done.
Right. She thinks we have too much stuff. I personally don't think we have too much stuff. We have a stove and cast iron skillet that we cook all our meals in. And this way we're not getting food on the stove. The food's on the skillet, and then we can clean the skillet out and we can keep that packed away. So we're not getting a food mess on the stove, and the stove can stay in the camper, and we'll take it out when we get home and clean it up and everything like that. But that you don't attract pests that way, and I think that's actually a pro. But one of the cons is setup, because it takes a long time to set up. And we have a table that we use for the camp stove. We have a table inside that we use for all our clothes. The reason why is because we're in a small area. I want to be organized when we're in a small area. I don't want to have to be fumbling around looking for stuff. I'd rather be nice and tidy and organized. It'd just be easier that way. Some of the stuff we have is a little bit bulky, and it takes up some space. We use a big tarp for a rain fly. The wife hasn't experienced it, but I did when I took Colton camping. If you don't use the rain fly, and yes, my canvas has been waterproofed, it gets condensation. Excuse me. It gets condensation on the inside. And also, the big tarp rain fly helps keeping the heat and everything else off the camper canvas itself, so it keeps it a little bit cooler in there, and it just protects your canvas. But setup time, it takes us, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how the wind is and stuff like that, to get everything unpacked and set up. Now, it's not hard to do. It's just once you've rode for 6 hours that day to get to a campsite, yeah, you don't want to go through and set all that stuff up. You know, for a weekend like we just did, is it probably too much? Could we probably cheat, go a little bit lighter and eat out and stuff like that? Yeah, but that would cost more money. Another con is teardown time. Because what we gotta do in the morning?
Huh? You have to wait.
Yeah, we get up. We pack up stuff that's inside that we can pack up. But because of how we have to organize stuff inside the camper, we can't really start putting stuff inside the camper until we've had our breakfast and cooked our breakfast and all that stuff. So we try to get up, cook breakfast, so we can get dishes and all that stuff cleaned up and whatnot.
Please keep to the left in half a mile.
But get everything cleaned up and whatnot, and then have time for the stove and the skillets and everything to cool down. But we have to wait for the condensation to kind of dry off of the tarp. I mean, we don't absolutely have to,
Keep to the left.
but
Quarter of a mile onto US
it's just a way to
Now, keep
take
to the
care of
left.
your stuff better, and you know, not pack it up damp. So we do that, and last time we ended up not leaving until like 10 o'clock.
Please follow the road for 1.
This time we had my buddy Paulie with us, and had a blast with Paulie. We saw a bear on the back of their dragon, which I didn't get on video, but we did see a bear. That was fun. Squirrel, yep. Anyway, cons. cons are pretty much setup and teardown time. Okay, that's where the majority of it is your setup and your teardown time. And if you get up 7 o'clock in the morning, start making your breakfast and everything, and it's hot out, the sun by 10 o'clock will have everything dried off. We putzed around a little bit today, and I mean, it was 12:30 when we pulled out of the campsite, went and said bye to Mr. G and Isaiah and Wondering Yankee.
Isaac, you mean?
Isaac, yep, I'm sorry, Isaac. Isaac and Harley Moonrider and Wondering Yankee. We went and said bye to them because those were the only 4 left in town, and topped off with gas and stuff. But now it's 1 o'clock, so now we're not going to be home until a little bit later. I mean, You can get up early, tear stuff down and whatnot, but we're still getting used to it. And I think once we get on the same page, because my wife's mindset and my mindset are a little bit different. Once we get on the same page with things and get her to see how things need to go in the camper, so when I'm pulling it with the bike, the weight's distributed evenly and we both know where things go, and we can start putting things, where they belong and stuff like that. I may look into, I have a kitchen table for the camp stove because I could put it on a picnic table, but you can clutter up a picnic table so fast and then you'll have room to sit and eat at the picnic table. This morning we were tearing stuff down, we were setting stuff on the picnic table. My buddy Paulie actually went over to another campsite that was empty and used their picnic table to tear his stuff apart because we had so much clutter on the picnic table. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll look into the table that we have inside instead of having I don't know. I kind of like the longer one because it lets us get our chargers and all that stuff. But it's a learning curve for us, and some things might change because we found their primitive camping down there at Cavitt's Creek is out and in the shade. And for that particular campground, you're baking in the sun. The sun rises and sets right there on your campsite. So, I mean, for that campground, that's a con. And we may do a video about this campground because there's some things out there that, are good, and there's some things out there that are bad. And if you're thinking of going down into the Tazewell area and camping, maybe you should know these things. But pros and cons of camping. Pros, it's dirt cheap. It is. It's cheaper than I can't tell you. And cons are just set up and tear down time, man. Put your shorts on in the morning, leave your shorts on, and then before you leave and you get everything hooked up, go jump in the shower so you can cool off a little bit. That's what I've done the last 2 times. But you got any other pros or cons that you would like to mention?
No.
No? Anything else you want to say? No.
Well, I do think the table inside, we don't really need it because it's long. We could get a smaller one. But you like it, so that's fine.
Oh, I like it because we can put our helmets and Sennas and stuff like that on it, and there's things that need to be charged, there's batteries that need to be charged, our Sennas need to be charged, tablet needs to be charged so I can pull footage. I don't take a laptop, I just take my tablet. So you have that stuff, and the table's just, in my opinion, it's the perfect size for that. But I don't know. Maybe we'll look into trying to come up with something else. Who knows? But it's a learning curve. We shall see what happens in the future. But for now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap this one up. And remember, when you get back out there, ride fast, live slow. We'll see y'all on the next one.